In a small village, there lived a boy. He was young, but his dreams were big. His house was small, made of wood and stone. His family did not have much money, but they had love. The boy's life was simple. He woke up early in the morning. He helped his mother carry water. He helped his father cut wood. After work, he went to school. The school was old. The roof leaked when it rained. The chairs were broken. The books were old. Still, the boy loved school. He loved learning. He wanted to know about the world. He wanted to see what was outside his little village. He looked at the mountains and thought, there is more beyond them. He looked at the river and thought, it flows to places I have never seen. His heart was full of questions. His mind was full of dreams. People called him curious. He was kind too. He helped children who were younger. He shared his bread when others were hungry. He listened to the old when they told stories. Everyone said he had a good heart. But deep inside, the boy wanted something more. He did not only want to be good. He wanted to be strong. He wanted to change his life. He wanted to make a mark in the world. The boy's dream was not small. He did not want to stay in the village forever. He wanted to study. He wanted to travel. He wanted to do something great. But the world around him was not kind to such dreams. His friends laughed at him. "Why do you study so much?" they said. "It will not change anything. You will still be poor." The elders shook their heads. "The world is hard," they said. "Do not waste your time with big ideas." Even his family sometimes worried. His father said, "Books will not put food on the table." His mother said, "Dreams do not pay for bread." The boy felt alone. He felt like the world was against him. But when he sat under the tree with his old book, he felt hope. He whispered to himself, "I will not stop." His heart told him that one day, his effort would matter. His heart told him that even if the world did not believe, he must still believe. The boy worked hard, but life was not easy. His shoes were old and torn. His clothes were patched many times. At school, he had no pen of his own. He borrowed from others. Sometimes, he had no lunch. Sometimes, he went hungry all day. When exams came, he studied by candlelight. The candle was short, and the nights were long. His eyes grew tired, but his mind stayed strong. There were times he wanted to cry. There were times he almost gave up. But then he thought of his dream. He thought of the world beyond the mountains. He thought of the river that flowed to faraway lands. He said to himself, "If I stop now, I will never reach there. If I stop now, I will never know what is possible." These thoughts gave him strength. Even when he was sad, he kept moving. Even when he was tired, he kept going. The boy knew that pain was part of the path. He knew that struggle was part of the story. One day, something happened. A teacher asked the class a hard question. No one knew the answer. The classroom was silent. Then the boy stood up. He spoke. His voice was not strong at first, but his words were clear. He gave the right answer. The teacher looked at him with surprise. "Very good," the teacher said. The class laughed. They did not laugh with him. They laughed at him. "Look at him," they said. "He thinks he is better than us." The boy felt his face burn. His hands shook. But he did not sit down. He stood tall. The teacher asked another question. Again, the boy answered. The laughter grew louder. Yet inside, something new grew too. The boy felt courage. He told himself, "If they laugh, let them laugh. If they mock me, let them mock me. My voice will not be silent." That day was small. But to him, it was a turning point. After that day, the boy faced more tests. People laughed more. Some children pushed him and called him names. Some elders told him to stop wasting time. Even his friends grew distant. He walked home alone many evenings. His heart was heavy. But every night, when he lay in bed, he repeated one promise. I will not stop. I will not stop. He knew the world was against him. He knew the path was lonely. But he also knew one truth: strength is born in silence. Courage is born when no one is watching. Faith is born when no one believes. The boy began to understand this truth. It gave him power. He told himself, I may be alone now, but I will not be alone forever. One day, my steps will lead me somewhere new. One day, my dream will rise higher than the laughter. And with that thought, he closed his eyes and slept. The next weeks were harder. The boy walked to school with his head high, but his heart was often heavy. Children whispered when he entered the classroom. Some laughed at his old shoes. Others mocked his patched shirt. Dreamer, they called him, as if dreaming was something foolish. He wanted to answer back, but he stayed quiet. He thought, if I speak in anger, I will lose my strength. My silence will be my answer. But silence was not easy. Sometimes he cried alone, near the river. He threw stones into the water and wished the pain would sink away. Still, he never let his tears be seen at school. He never let the laughter break him. At night, when the village slept, he read his book under the weak candlelight. The words gave him comfort. The stories of heroes gave him hope. They were also alone, he told himself. They also faced a world against them. But they stood strong. And because they stood, they changed everything. These thoughts became his shield. One evening, his father spoke to him. His father was tired from work in the fields. His hands were rough, his back bent from years of labor. Son, he said, why do you study so much? Look around you. Our life will not change. I was poor, and you will be poor. That is the way of the world. The boy listened, but his heart fought against those words. He loved his father. He respected him. But he could not accept this fate. Father, he whispered, maybe life can change. Maybe not for everyone, but maybe for me. If I change, then maybe others will change too. His father shook his head. You are young. You do not know how cruel the world can be. The boy stayed silent, but inside, he repeated, I must try. Even if the world is cruel, I must try. That night, he did not sleep quickly. He looked at the ceiling and thought of his father's words. They hurt him. But they also made his resolve stronger. The next day at school, the boy faced another challenge. It was time for exams. His classmates laughed again. Why do you study so much? They asked. You will fail like the rest of us. But the boy did not answer. He opened his paper and began to write. His hands moved quickly. His mind was clear. He remembered the long nights, the candlelight, the hunger, the tears. All of it gave him energy. When the results came, his name was first on the list. For a moment, his heart jumped with joy. But when the others saw it, they grew angry. He thinks he is special, they said. Some even accused him of cheating. His joy turned bitter. He had worked hard, but instead of praise, he received hate. That night, the boy felt broken. He sat by the river again. He asked himself, why is the world so against me? Why can't they be happy for me? The water gave no answer. But deep inside, a small voice whispered, do not stop. This pain is proof that you are different. And different is the beginning of change. One afternoon, the boy overheard the elders speaking. They sat under the tree, drinking tea. That boy, one elder said, he dreams too much. He will leave the village and forget his people. Another replied, or he will fail, and then he will know we were right. Their words cut deep into his heart. He wanted to run to them and shout, I do not want to forget my people. I want to make them proud. But he did not. Instead, he walked away. His steps were heavy, but his spirit was still alive. He thought, if I argue, they will not listen. Only my actions will speak. That night, he prayed silently. He did not ask for an easy path. He did not ask for people to change. He asked only for strength. Give me the courage to stand, he whispered. Give me the patience to wait. One day, let my work show them the truth. With this prayer, he felt calmer. He knew the journey would be long, but he also knew that he was ready to walk it. Slowly, the boy began to understand something important. The world was not only against him because he was poor. It was not only against him because of his old shoes or patched clothes. The world was against him because he dared to dream. Dreams frighten people. Dreams make people uncomfortable. When someone dares to reach higher, others feel small. They mock, not because the dream is wrong, but because they are afraid it might come true. The boy realized this. And with that knowledge, he grew stronger. He told himself, if they laugh, it means I am moving forward. If they doubt me, it means I am climbing higher. If the world is against me, it means I have something worth fighting for. From that day, he walked with a new fire inside. His clothes were still patched, his shoes still broken, but his steps were firm. He was still a boy, but his spirit was beginning to rise like a mountain. The days passed, and the boy faced the same struggles again and again. Each morning, he woke before the sun. He helped his family with work. He carried water, cut wood, and cleaned the small yard. Then he hurried to school with his old bag. Inside were 2 or 3 torn books, a pencil almost too short to hold, and a heart full of hope. At school, the laughter never stopped. Some days, the boys hid his books. Other days, they pushed him in the dirt. He stood up, dusted off his clothes, and kept walking. When the teacher asked questions, the boy still raised his hand. He answered, even if the class mocked him. At home, his father still said, work is more important than dreams. His mother still said, books will not feed you. The boy listened, but inside he held tightly to his promise, I will not stop. One day, the turning point came. It was a festival in the village. People gathered in the square. There was music, food, and games. The elders organized a speech contest for the children. Many boys and girls refused to join, afraid of speaking before the crowd. But the boy stepped forward. His heart beat fast, his hands shook, but his courage pushed him on. When his turn came, he stood on the small stage. The people laughed softly. What will he say? They whispered. The boy opened his mouth. At first, his voice trembled. But then it grew stronger. He spoke about dreams. He spoke about courage. He said, even if the world is against you, you must stand. Even if no one believes, you must believe. One small dream can change everything. The square grew quiet. Some listened with surprise, others with doubt. When he finished, there was no loud applause, only silence. But inside the boy, a fire burned brighter than ever. After the speech, some mocked him. Big words for a poor boy, they said. Others laughed and walked away. But a few, only a few, looked at him differently. One old woman said softly, that boy has something in his heart. The boy heard her words and carried them like a treasure. That night, he lay on his bed and thought of the silence after his speech. It had not been approval, but it had not been laughter either. It was a moment when the crowd did not know what to say. He understood then, silence can also mean respect. Silence can also mean that the heart has been touched. With this thought, he repeated his promise once more, I will not stop. I will not stop. But courage is tested many times. After the festival, life did not suddenly change. His friends still laughed. His family still worried. His father said again, do not waste your strength on words. The world does not listen to poor boys. The boy felt the weight of those words, but he remembered his speech. He remembered how strong his voice had sounded in front of the crowd. That memory became a shield. When doubts came, he thought of that moment. He thought of the fire inside him. He said to himself, maybe the world does not listen now. But one day, it will hear me. One day, my voice will be too strong to ignore. And with that, he continued. The boy began to train himself in silence. He woke earlier than before. Before the sun rose, he read his books. When others slept, he studied. He practiced writing, though his paper was little. He practiced speaking, though no one listened. At night, he looked in the mirror of water in the river and spoke his words out loud. His only audience was the stars. His only applause was the sound of flowing water. But he did not stop. He told himself, every word I practice makes me stronger. Every page I read builds my future. He felt lonely, but he also felt proud. He knew he was walking a road few would dare to walk. Still, the price of courage was heavy. Many days, he ate little. Many nights, he slept late and woke tired. His father grew angry. Why are you always with books, he asked. Why don't you learn to plow the land? Why don't you learn to plow the land? Why don't you learn a trade? His friends grew distant. They played together, but they stopped inviting him. He is too serious, they said. He thinks he is better than us. The boy heard their words, and his heart hurt. But he remembered his promise, I will not stop. He walked alone, carrying his dream like a small light in the dark. The world felt like a storm, but he refused to let his light go out. One day, a teacher gave the class a challenge. Write an essay about your future, she said. The other children wrote quickly. Most wrote, I will be a farmer, or I will work in the market. The boy wrote slowly, carefully. His essay was long. He wrote about becoming a man who could help others. He wrote about building schools, about bringing knowledge to poor children, about showing the world that even the weakest can rise. When the teacher read his essay, she was silent for a long time. At last, she said, your dream is big, but your words are clear. Do not let go of this dream. The boy felt tears in his eyes. For the first time, someone outside his own heart told him not to stop. Those words were like gold to him. He carried them with him every day after. Small victories began to appear. He passed his exams again, and this time the teacher praised him in front of the class. Some students still laughed, but others looked at him with new eyes. He helped a younger child learn to read, and the child's mother thanked him. He spoke kindly to an old man in the market, and the man said, you have respect in your voice. These were small things, but to the boy, they were signs. Signs that his light was reaching others. Signs that his courage was not wasted. Each small victory made his dream feel closer. Each small victory made his steps firmer. Still, not everyone was happy. Some children grew jealous. He wants to be special, they said. He thinks he is better. They tried harder to make him fall. They pushed him in the mud. They hid his books. They told lies about him. The boy felt the pain, but he also felt something new, strength. The more they pushed him down, the stronger he stood. He told himself, if I fall, I will rise. If they push, I will stand again. My dream is stronger than their hate. His enemies did not understand. The world did not yet see it. But inside the boy, a mountain of courage was rising, stone by stone. At last, some villagers began to notice. They saw how he studied even when others played. They saw how he helped others even when he was tired. They saw how he stood tall even when mocked. Some said, "That boy has fire in him." Others said, "Maybe he will become something after all." The words were small, but they gave the boy more hope. He realized something important: the world does not change in one day. Respect is not won in one moment. It is built, slowly, like a house of stone. And he was building his house, one stone at a time. He smiled, lifted his head, and whispered once more, "I will not stop." The boy continued to grow. His courage became stronger each day. He no longer feared laughter. He no longer feared silence. He learned to walk with steady steps, even when the road was lonely. His teachers began to trust him. They asked him to help other students. He felt proud, but also humble. He remembered the days when his own books were missing, when his own lunch was empty. So, he helped with kindness. He shared his notes. He explained lessons to younger children. Slowly, people began to see that his dream was not only for himself. His dream was also for others. That made his heart shine brighter. He thought, if I can help even one person, my fight is worth it. One year, the school held a competition. It was about knowledge and courage. Students from many villages came. The boy joined. He was nervous. He remembered all the times people mocked him. He remembered his father's heavy words. But he also remembered his promise, "I will not stop." On the day of the contest, the hall was full. Questions were asked one by one. Many children gave up. Many were silent. But the boy kept answering. His voice was calm, his answers clear. At last, he was the winner. The hall clapped. The sound filled his heart. For the first time, the applause was louder than the laughter. He stood on the stage and thought, "This is only a small step, but it is the beginning of many more." News of his victory spread through the village. The same people who once laughed now spoke his name with respect. "That boy is different," they said. "He may go far one day." His father was silent. His mother smiled quietly. The elders nodded slowly. But the boy knew something important: he did not need their praise. Respect was sweet, but it was not his goal. His true strength was inside. His true fire was his own belief. He told himself, "If the world claps for me, I will continue. If the world turns against me again, I will still continue. Because my strength is not their applause. My strength is my dream." Still, he did not forget the pain. He remembered the days of hunger, the nights of study by weak candlelight. He remembered the whispers, the mocking laughter, the loneliness. These memories did not make him bitter. Instead, they made him grateful. He thought, "If I had not suffered, I would not be strong. If I had not been alone, I would not know courage. If the world had not been against me, I would not have found the fire inside." He carried his past like a teacher. It reminded him never to give up, never to stop. Time passed. The boy became a young man. He left the village to study in the city. There, the world was even bigger, and the challenges were harder. But he was ready. He walked into the new place with steady steps. People there did not know his past. They did not know his struggles. But when they saw his eyes, they saw courage. When they heard his voice, they heard truth. Slowly, he proved himself again. His results were strong. His teachers respected him. His classmates admired his hard work. He began to shine in a world much larger than his small village. Back in the village, news of his success returned. The people who once doubted him now spoke proudly. "He is from our village," they said. "He is our boy." His father finally smiled with pride. His mother prayed with joy. Even the elders said, perhaps we were wrong. Perhaps dreams can change life. The boy heard these words, but he did not let pride blind him. He remembered the beginning. He remembered the lonely days. He told himself, I must stay humble. I must stay strong. My journey is not only for me. It is for everyone who feels the world is against them. One evening, the boy, now a young man, sat by the same river where he had once cried. The water still flowed, calm and endless. He remembered the stones he had thrown in sadness. Now he smiled. He thought, this river has always been moving forward. It never stopped, even when rocks blocked its way. I must live like this river. Quiet, steady, but always moving forward. He closed his eyes and whispered, life is not easy. The world can be cruel. But courage is born when you stand alone. Strength is built when you refuse to give up. I know this truth now. His story began to inspire others. Younger children in the village asked him for advice. Poor students in the city looked at him and said, if he can, maybe we can too. He did not give them money. He gave them words. He said, do not be afraid of laughter. Do not be afraid of silence. Do not be afraid if the world is against you. Stand strong. Believe in yourself. Even a small step can begin a long journey. His words touched hearts, just as his teacher's words once touched him. The circle of courage grew wider. The boy's story carried a great lesson. Life will not always be kind. People will not always believe in you. Sometimes, even the people you love will tell you to stop. But true courage is to keep going. True strength is to keep standing, even when you are alone. The boy learned this lesson, and now he shared it with others. He wanted everyone to know, loneliness is not the end. Rejection is not the end. They can be the beginning of something powerful. They can be the soil where courage grows. And so, his journey became more than his own. It became a light for others. His voice was no longer silent. His steps were no longer lonely. He had proven that when the world is against you, you must not break. You must stand. You must believe. One day, the same world that laughed will begin to listen. One day, the same world that doubted will begin to respect. And even if they do not, it does not matter. Because the greatest victory is not applause. The greatest victory is to keep your fire alive. The boy's story ends with this truth: when the world is against you, stand strong. One day, the world will stand with you.